Hi, welcome to part 4 of our phonological signing. Again, I'm not trained to teach other teachers for this sign language that Bethany Tucker created. This is solely for the purpose of students and parents in my class being able to use this tool at home. So let's continue with the letters of the alphabet and their signs and sounds. This is the letter O, the capital O and the lowercase o. The sound for the letter O is ah. The sign for the letter O is made by making your fingers into a circle. It's important to not let children make the entire fist because that would be for a different sign. So you put your fingers in a circle with thumb touching fingers. You put the thumb and the finger towards your body. You put that near your ear and say ah. O is a vowel, so it does have two sounds. Ah is the short sound for the letter O, and O is the long sound for the letter O. Anytime we make a long vowel sign, we make our arm long and away from our body to remember that's the long sign. The short sounds are made short and close to our body. So O has two sounds and two signs, Ah and O. This is the letter P. We have the capital P and the lowercase p. The sign for P, the way that it's taught, can be a little bit difficult for students to do, but however they make the sign is fine, but the way you teach it is important so that the sign when you teach it looks like the lowercase p. The sign for the lowercase p is again to make a circle with your hand, to put the thumb near the fingers. But then the part that gets tricky for some young students is you turn that sign around, putting your pinky closer to your mouth and your thumb farther away. The reason for this is you're actually supposed to be making it with your left hand or most people's non-dominant hand. And when you turn it around, then it looks like the lowercase p. The same thing for the student when they look at it themselves. So they turn it around and they make. Sometimes when you tell students to turn theirs around, they'll be trying to turn it out the other way. Just tell them to turn it back around where their pinky is towards their face. The sign and sound for the letter P are P. This is a non-voiced sound. It does not make your throat vibrate when you say it. If you're saying P and your voice is vibrating, then you're making the wrong sound. It's just P. The sign and sound for the letter P are P. This is the letter Q, the capital Q and the lowercase q. The sign and sound for Q are Q. And I like to remind students when I teach this sound that you never write a Q without a U. But we do have a sound that's just for Q, but really it's for QU. It's Q. Q is supposed to be like the queen putting on her crown. So she puts her finger into a circle and says Q. Q. Here's the letter R. The letter R makes the sound the capital R and the lowercase r. As with most signs, the sign is supposed to look like the lowercase letter r. It's to put your hand straight up with all fingers together and thumb together. You pull down first because all letters start at the top and say and curve your hand back up into the shape at the top of the lowercase r. Start at the top, pull down, go back up and over, just like you would when writing the lowercase r. Here's the letter S, the capital S and the lowercase s. For the sign is one of the kids' favorites usually. Again, you start with your whole hand flat, all the fingers and thumb together, and you just draw the lowercase s in the air. Starting at the top, making one curve around, going around, and making another curve around to make the letter S. It's not important if the child makes the sign perfectly like the letter S. What's important is that they associate it with the sound, that they have a motion to go with it, and that they're having a good time. The sound and sign for S are S. Here's the letter T. It's the capital T and the lowercase t. The sign and sound for T are T. It's simply one finger pointed out, the rest of the fingers down. The finger turns sideways as if it were the cross on the T. You can start by saying t, t, and then move the other hand away and say t, t. Again, it's not ta, it's not a voiced sound, it's just a sound made with the lips and tongue. T. So the sign and sound for the letter T are t. I'll quickly review the signs and sounds that we've learned in this part. We have the letter O, which has the sound ah and the sound O. The letter P, which has the sound P. The letter Q and the sound and sign Qu. The letter R and the sound and sign R. The letter S and the sound and sign S. The letter T and the sound and sign T. Again, I want to show you how this can be so useful as students learn to read as well, or even for students who've known the alphabet for a long time. As I said, Bethany Tucker actually designed this to work with 5th and 6th grade students who were dyslexic, because the kinesthetic body motion of having a sign to go with the sound helped increase their accuracy on reading. For instance, you could have the word. The reason that we use only one hand to make each sign is so that your other hand is free to point to what you're reading. This would be o, it, o, it. And as the student makes the sign, it helps them remember the sounds more quickly and makes their reading more efficient. O, it spells lit. One more example before we close this part would be, this can be used with longer words as well. This says g, et, g, et, makes get. There are signs for all of the 2-letter digraphs as well, SH, WH, TH, that we'll learn later on. Happy signing! Look for part 5.